Welcome to the channel, Miracles of History. Don't forget to leave your like. The tragic end of Jesus' 12 apostles. According to the Bible and tradition, you will be hated by all because of my name, but the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. Matthew 10:22. Following Christ's path has never been, and will never be, an easy journey. Those who consider themselves true disciples know that the Christian life demands renunciation, courage, and unwavering faith. Jesus himself called the weary and burdened to come to him, for his yoke is easy and his burden is light. But that didn't mean the absence of pain or persecution. On the contrary, it meant that, amid struggles and trials, he would always be present, supporting his chosen ones until the end, before fulfilling his supreme mission, dying on the cross to redeem humanity's sins. Jesus warned his disciples that the spread of the gospel would be accompanied by great trials. In John 15:20-21, he declares, "Remember what I told you, no servant is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teaching, they will obey yours also. They will treat you this way because of my name, for they do not know the one who sent me." If this applies to all Christians throughout history, imagine then for the apostles' men, who walked side by side with Christ, witnessed his miracles, and were sent directly by him. These men gave not only their youth, dreams, and families, but also, in many cases, their very lives for the love of the Lord. Today, we're diving into the fate of the 12 disciples chosen by Jesus, discovering how the earthly journey of these men of faith came to an end. Get ready, because some of these stories are intense, painful, and at the same time deeply inspiring. James, son of Zebedee, James the Greater. James was one of the first to follow Jesus, and also the first apostle to be martyred, son of Zebedee and brother of John. He was called by Christ while mending fishing nets by the Sea of Galilee. James was part of Jesus' inner circle, along with Peter and John, being present at pivotal moments like the Transfiguration and the agony in Gethsemane. According to Acts 12:1-2, James was killed by the sword on the orders of King Herod Agrippa I, around 44 AD. His martyrdom marked the beginning of a wave of persecution against the early church. James, son of Alphaeus, or James the Lesser, less mentioned in the Gospels. James the Lesser is believed to have been Matthew's brother, according to some scholars, and possibly a close relative of Jesus. Traditions say he preached in Egypt, Persia, and possibly Palestine. The cause of his death is uncertain. Some reports claim he was thrown from the pinnacle of the temple in Jerusalem and then stoned, while others say he was crucified in foreign lands. Despite the uncertainties, there is consensus that he was also martyred. Matthew or Levi. Matthew was a tax collector, a profession despised by the Jews. Called by Jesus, he left his life of wealth to follow the Master. He was the one who wrote the gospel that bears his name, considered the first of the New Testament. Traditions say Matthew preached in Ethiopia, Parthia, and possibly other regions of the East. His martyrdom is said to have occurred by sword, although there are no definitive records. Andrew, Peter's brother Andrew, was the first disciple called by Jesus. According to tradition, he took the gospel to Greece, where he was eventually condemned to death. He refused to be crucified in the same position as Christ and requested that his cross be in the shape of an X, now known as the Cross of St. Andrew. Peter, Simon, renamed Peter by Christ, was one of the pillars of the early church. Impulsive and fervent, he even denied Jesus, but later became a tireless preacher. According to tradition, Peter was martyred in Rome, crucified upside down, because he felt unworthy to die like his master. St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican stands over the site of his martyrdom. Simon the Zealot. Little is known about his life, but he is believed to have belonged to the Zealots, a Jewish political movement. Traditions say he preached in regions like Persia and Armenia, and died as a martyr, possibly crucified. Philip introduced Nathanael Bartholomew to Jesus, and was active in evangelism after the resurrection. Traditions suggest he preached in Asia Minor, where he was persecuted and executed, possibly by crucifixion or hanging in Hierapolis, modern-day Turkey. Bartholomew or Nathanael. Known for his sincerity, Bartholomew is said to have taken the gospel to India, Ethiopia, and Armenia. His death was brutal. Reports say he was flayed alive and then beheaded. Thomas or Didymus, famous for doubting Christ's resurrection. Thomas had his faith strengthened by touching Jesus' wounds. He took the gospel to India, where he founded Christian communities that still exist today. He was martyred with spear thrusts. Jude, Thaddeus, also known as Thaddeus or Lebbeus. He preached in Mesopotamia and Persia. Tradition says he was killed by stoning or beaten to death, faithful to the end to Christ's call. Judas Iscariot, known as the traitor, he betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Regretful, he took his own life. Matthew says he hanged himself. Acts describes him falling and dying tragically. His story became a symbol of perdition. John, the beloved disciple, the youngest of the apostles. John was the only one who stayed by the cross, author of the 4th Gospel, 3 letters, and Revelation. He lived a long life and died of natural causes in Ephesus, being the only one of the 12 who did not suffer martyrdom. Conclusion: the lives and destinies of the apostles show that following Christ requires unwavering faith, courage, and total commitment. Some were crucified, others stoned, others tortured in terrible ways, but all left an eternal legacy, confirming Jesus' words, "Whoever loses their life for my sake will find it." These ordinary men became giants of faith, and today, their testimonies continue to inspire us to live for Christ, no matter the cost. If this content has helped your life, just like manna fed the people in the desert, leave your like and write amen in the comments. May, just as the blessing multiplied among the people, this video also reach many lives for the glory of God.